Hey everybody, it's Rykard here again, back with another black and white Pokemon analysis. Today, we're going to be discussing the vast white Pokemon known as Reshiram. So let's get started by taking a look at its typing, ability, and stats. So first off, this Pokemon is the Tidal Dragon from Pokemon Black, if you are not curious, and if you are not familiar with this already, then you must have been living under a rock or something like that. I'm kidding. But it has a Dragon Fire typing, which is actually really unique because it is not weak to ice, and that's awesome because most dragons are. And in fact, you could deal super effective damage to things that are ice types that would want to take you out because of the fire typing. But other than that, it's only weak to ground, rock, and dragon, and you 4 times resist fire and grass, which is always good, while also resisting electric, bug, and steel. So it's some pretty interesting typing and definitely useful because a lot of Pokemon in the Uber tier are weak to bug. So, oh yeah, I'm also going to say that this Pokemon probably will be Uber, just to let you know that, so you're not going to be able to see it in standard play. But since a lot of them are weak to bug, since they normally have the psychic, dark, or dark typing, this Pokemon is definitely useful because it resists bugs, so that's always cool. But as for its ability, it is known as Turbo Blaze, which is essentially the same exact thing as Mold Breaker, meaning that you will nullify the abilities of your opponents to an extent, I guess. So, like, if you have a fire type move that you're using, like Fire Blast or something, and you're up against a Pokemon that would have Flash Fire, it will actually ignore the Flash Fire and do Fire type damage to them. Similarly, it will also ignore Levitate, so you can hit things with ground type moves. So that's really cool and definitely useful. As for the stats, though, it has 100 HP coupled with 100 defense and 120 special defense, which is pretty standard among legendary Uber Pokemon. So it's definitely nothing surprising here. You can definitely take a lot of special attacks because it's 120. So it's definitely a decent Pokemon to use and not to have to worry about getting one hit KO'd by a lot of things. But as for its attacking stats, it has 120 physical attack and 150 special attack, meaning that it has some ridiculous attack stats, but again, for legendary Pokemon, this is kind of normal. Um, it obviously has higher special attack, so you're probably going to want to invest in that. So that would probably be the move or the EV spread that you would want to use, like something in special attack and also speed. But its speed is unfortunately only 90, which is fairly slow for legendary Pokemon, meaning that it will be outsped by quite a lot of things, which is kind of unfortunate. But luckily, you do learn Nitro Charge as a way to boost your speed, but that also, I mean, in using that, you're also sacrificing a move that it probably could have to allow it to do more damage or something like that. So it's really an interesting scenario that you end up with because of its decently low speed. But obviously, you could scarf it, which would always be possible. But with that, let's take a look at the one moveset I have for this Pokemon because, to be honest, I'm not too familiar with the Uber tier, so we're just going to do one thing to showcase its special move, or sorry, its unique move, or signature move, whatever you want to call it, and then other things that might be able to use you with it. So let's take a look at that right now. So for this only set, I decided to kind of try and be a little bit creative and make it somewhat of a mixed set, because, as I said, I really don't know much about the Uber tier. But first we're going to give it a naive nature to increase its speed but lower its special defense. And then we're going to be using the ability Turbo Blaze, obviously, because it is the only ability it gets. As for the EVs, we're going to put 4 into HP to give it 1 more point for that, 252 in a special attack, and then 252 in a speed to give you your max speed possible and the highest special attack you can get with a naive nature. As for the item, we're going to be using a Lumberry for multiple reasons. One of them, obviously, is to get rid of statuses that this Pokemon may get when you're in battle, and also is to get rid of confusion from Outrage. So it has many uses and is definitely useful on this Pokemon. But as for the moves, the first one we're going to be making use of is known as Claw Sharpen, which I'm also seeing as Hone Claws now, so it could be both. I'm not sure which is the actual English translation. But Claw Sharpen, as you probably know already, is a move that increases your physical attack and your accuracy by 1 stage. So this allows us to be mixed, in a sense, because it'll boost our physical attack to be pretty much that of our special attack. And then obviously the accuracy boosts will definitely come into play in allowing us to use some of the more powerful special attacking moves that this Pokemon gets. But for those moves, the first one we're going to be using is known as Blue Fire, which is this Pokemon's signature move along with another move known as Cross Flame. Blue Fire, though, is better in my opinion, and I'll explain it right now. Basically, it is a 130 base power special fire type move that has a 20% chance to burn every time you use it. Now, comparing this to Overheat, which is generally the most powerful fire type move that other Pokemon can get, it obviously only loses out in 10 base power, and you don't get the -2 special attack drop every time you use it, which means that this move is definitely awesome in every possible way for a fire Pokemon. But comparing it to Cross Flame, which is its other signature move, Cross Flame is 100 base power, and it'll double in power after you use it after Cross Thunder, which is Zekrom's other cross move. But the thing is that even if you're using this Pokemon against a Zekrom, which is the only way that Cross Flame could double in power, you would probably want to be using a dragon type move anyways because it resists fire. So it seems kind of stupid, but I guess it's kind of cool that they made them kind of unique that way because these Pokemon are supposed to represent like yin and yang. But with Blue Fire, we're also going to be using Focus Blast as just another good move to have. It is of the fighting type, so it's definitely useful. And then lastly, Outrage is there to allow us to deal a ton of damage from the physical dragon side, which will come in handy a lot since there's a lot of other dragon Pokemon in the Uber tier. And with a Claw Sharpen, you'll obviously have quite a bit of power behind that. And Lumberry, as I said before, will get rid of confusion that Outrage gets. That was just a really long list of things. But this is pretty much just one set I came up with for this Pokemon. Obviously, it could also be very defensive if you wanted to max out HP, special defense, and give it Will-O-Wisp to take physical hits better. That is also another option, but I didn't want to feel the need to make another little slide for it. But that is it for this legendary Pokemon, Reshiram, as you all know, and it's really cool, and I definitely like it a lot. So take care, guys, and goodbye.